A tall man wearing a black suit. His body is unnaturally elongated to an inhuman degree, and there is no face. There are some photos of Slenderman that shows multiple limbs, and some others with what appear to be tentacles. He's capable of supernatural feats such as teleportation and mind manipulation. It is said that the Slenderman has been witnessed before the rise of civilization, and his existence was recorded in the form of paintings and writings, found throughout almost every culture on Earth. No one knows his motives, nor can his actions be predicted. Those who tried or got close enough and survived have all ended up insane. He appears to be connected to some incidences of fire and missing children, but nothing is certain. Anyone who tries to investigate and follows his trail soon find themselves the next target of the Slenderman. This, of course, is all fictional and completely made up. The Slenderman is a creepypasta internet meme that originated from an image posted on the forum site Something Awful, in a thread that hosted a Photoshop paranormal image contest. The flavor text that was posted with the image, along with the addition of other pictures that followed, created the character now widely known as the Slenderman. It went viral on the internet, with YouTube videos and stories eventually creating what is now known as the Slenderman mythos, a legend with extensive background information and details that make it seem very real. Sadly, some took the urban legend too seriously than was originally intended. The Slenderman stabbing of 2014 made nationwide news. 2 teenage girls attempted murder in order to impress the fictional character. Other alleged incidents and reports with people attributing the motive to the Slenderman stories garnered negative media attention, ultimately driving many fans and creators away from the lore. Prominent contributors of the Slenderman mythos comprise a major part of ARG, or alternate reality games, that together form a shared background called the Slenderverse. Video weblogs posted on YouTube and blogs such as Tumblr shows many individual series that add to the mythos, with some of them posted in combination with other series that share the same setting and plotlines. Some even have the main characters of each series meeting in a collaborated or crossover episode. Interestingly, many of the prominent series in Slenderverse share the state of New Jersey in the United States as its background. So there are jokes about how people who want to see the Slenderman should visit the state. The Slenderman has a number of human henchmen called Proxy, and almost all ARG series include them in their plot. Sometimes the Proxy is someone close to the protagonist, other times they're unknown individuals that may or may not be human. Proxies usually contribute to the plotline by hacking the main character's YouTube or Twitter account and leaving clues, or harassing them by breaking into their houses for no apparent reasons. It appears the Slenderman controls the Proxies by means of mind control, an ability that most likely evolved from the fact that he was depicted as having some sort of telepathic influence on humans during the early days of its conception. Proxies act as the villain of the story, oftentimes making more frequent appearances than the Slenderman himself. Runners are those that are currently being chased by either Slenderman or Proxies. They usually get dragged into the nightmarish scenarios of Slenderverse after sighting Slenderman and recording videos of the strange occurrences that begin to happen around them. It is often the case that they become the Slenderman's target as they investigate and follow the clues left by others before them. Death or disappearance is the fate often met by these characters, and in the rare occasions they do survive, most do so in a ruined state of life. One common effect these ARG series feature is the static noise and effect seen on screen whenever the Slenderman or Proxy is nearby. The main characters also sometimes exhibit physical symptoms such as sudden chills or frequent coughs. Since 2015, new uploads are rare and far in between. The popularity of Slenderman YouTube series was already reaching its peak by the 2011s, and eventually declined to its current state, where only some dedicated fandoms still follow the mythos. I'd like to introduce a few ARG series that have laid the foundation of what Slenderman mythos is now. There are many more out there besides these, but I think the impact they've had on the lore is much bigger than the others. Marble Hornet is generally considered the most well-known Slenderverse ARG, and the first of its kind. The impact it had on the entire lore is plain to see, as the characteristics of Slenderman and certain effects set on this series have been applied to almost all the other series that came after it. It follows Jay, a young man who attempts to find out what happened during the filming of Marble Hornets, a film created by his friend Alex Crayley. 3 years prior, Alex abruptly ended the project after only 2 months of production. Before cutting contact with Jay, Alex gave him the tapes containing footage from the film and told Jay never to talk about it with them again. The series unfolds as Jay watches the tapes, leaving comments from his perspective. Everyman Hybrid starts off as a workout video that happens to contain footage of a tall, abnormally long man wearing a black suit. This is probably the series that contains the most complicated and vast ARG element in it. The series progression is also interlocked with a Tumblr blog called Can You See the Words, with the content of the blog sharing the same setting as Everyman Hybrid. Vinny Everyman, along with friends Jeff and Evan, makes workout videos. Things take a turn for worse each time a mysterious tall man in black is seen in their recordings, eventually leading to the disappearance of Jeff's girlfriend, Jessa. Unfortunately, Jessa's disappearance was just a small taste of the horrors the three friends will be facing in the future. Tribe 12 is another well-known Slenderverse ARG. The protagonist, Noah Maxwell, originally created the channel for projects that involved the ancient 12 tribes of Israel, hence Tribe 12. The project is cancelled though as soon as it begins, and Noah hears the news that his cousin, Milo, has been found dead in his room. Noah decides to use his channel to commemorate Milo's memories with video recordings of himself and Milo, and begins to notice the existence of Slenderman in those recordings. Dark Harvest 00 is known to have cameo appearances and crossover episodes with Everyman Hybrid and Tribe 12. It didn't get too much attention in the early episodes, but gained popularity by including government conspiracies and a pseudo-religion called the Order in the lore. Chris starts recording strange sounds and phenomenons sometimes seen in his house. He slowly realizes that he, along with his friend Alex, is being stalked by a mysterious man. Their lives turn upside down after his friend Greg gets murdered, and they discover a sinister religious group has made them their target. The Slenderman mythos is interesting, and the fact that it started out as an internet meme with hardly any background, evolving through the combined contributions of creators and eventually becoming a sort of icon that represents the urban legend of digital age. Like the vampire and the werewolf, Slenderman now exists as something akin to the folklore, a creature of many legends and mystery that is retold and reimagined again and again. This video is the first of a series in which I plan to explore the origin and lores of creatures that appear in horror stories. As a horror story enthusiast, I find it very interesting that many of the villains that act as the source of fear in these stories are very often stereotyped characters that we, as the audience, are most likely familiar with the concept behind them. Like the killers with psychotic motives that are impossible for the normal person to understand, or the spirits of the dead that have somehow suffered gruesome or undeserving deaths that now haunt the place they have died at. Monsters with familiar themes such as the sucking of blood or curses bestowed upon them, and so on. I think the appeal of horror stories and the respective lore behind them is the fact that, unlike the lores of popular fictional universes that each fandom loves to delve into, they are designed so that the setting is as relatable and as close to the reality we live in as possible. Fear, after all, is as much the feeling of possible danger as well as that of the unknown. Horror stories are purposefully built so that the line between fiction and reality is blurred. We know they aren't real, and most of us probably have never even seen, let alone experienced something as terrifying as those in horror stories. But the relatability of the setting and characters, along with the question people so often ask themselves, what if, helps us think about the possibilities of the unlikely. Slenderman began as superficial and made up just like any other fictions. Now, it's more than that. It's an urban legend that commonly appears in various stories, and is so well known that even those unfamiliar with the lore at least have heard the name and probably knows how it looks. Unfortunately, it's also true that its popularity and common usage in parodies have caused the element of terror and mystery associated with the character to decline. Still, many fans eagerly await the next Slenderman story. Hopefully, it's a scary one. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you with another story worth telling.